Long ago, when Israel was still led by judges and prophets, the people began to feel uneasy. They looked around them and saw that other nations had kings, strong leaders who commanded armies, ruled cities and wore crowns of gold. But Israel had no king. Their leader at the time was Samuel the prophet, a wise and faithful servant of God. For many years, Samuel guided the people, teaching them God's laws and helping settle disputes. Yet as Samuel grew old, the elders of Israel came to him with a request that would change their history forever. "Appoint a king to lead us," they said. "We want to be like the other nations." Samuel was troubled. He knew that Israel already had a king. Their true king was God himself. Asking for a human king meant trusting in power and armies instead of faith. Samuel prayed, seeking God's guidance. And God answered. "Listen to the people," God said, "but warn them what a king will do." So Samuel told the people the truth. A king would take their sons to fight in wars. He would take their daughters to serve in his courts. He would claim their fields, their harvests, and their flocks. But the people refused to listen. No, they insisted, "We still want a king." So God chose a man. His name was Saul, the son of Kish, from the tribe of Benjamin. Saul was unlike most men. He stood taller than anyone else in Israel, strong, handsome, and impressive in appearance. If you saw him walking through the crowd, you would notice him immediately. But the story of how Saul became king began with something very ordinary. One day, Saul's father sent him on a simple task, to find some lost donkeys. Saul and his servant searched through hills and villages, traveling farther and farther from home. But no matter where they looked, the donkeys were nowhere to be found. After many days of searching, Saul decided it was time to return home. But his servant had an idea. "In this town lives a man of God," the servant said. "People say that everything he says comes true. Let us ask him where the donkeys are." That man of God was Samuel the prophet. But Saul didn't know that something far greater than lost donkeys was waiting for him. The night before Saul arrived, God had spoken to Samuel. "Tomorrow I will send you a man from the tribe of Benjamin," God said. "Anoint him to be the leader of my people Israel." So when Samuel saw Saul approaching, God whispered to him, "This is the man." Samuel welcomed Saul with honor, inviting him to a special meal and seating him at the place of honor among the guests. Saul must have been confused. Why was this great prophet treating him, a man searching for donkeys, with such respect? The next morning, Samuel took Saul aside. Then he did something unexpected. Samuel poured oil over Saul's head. In those days, pouring oil over someone was a sacred act called anointing, a sign that God had chosen that person for a special purpose. "Has not the Lord anointed you ruler over his people?" Samuel said. Saul was stunned. A king? Him? He came looking for donkeys. And now he was chosen to lead a nation. Later, Samuel gathered all the tribes of Israel together to reveal the new king. Through a sacred process of casting lots, tribe after tribe was chosen, until finally the tribe of Benjamin was selected, and then Saul's family. But when they looked for Saul, they couldn't find him. Where was the new king? After searching, they discovered something surprising. Saul was hiding among the supplies. Even though he had been chosen by God, Saul felt overwhelmed and afraid of the responsibility. When they brought him out, the people saw how tall and impressive he was. "There is no one like him among all the people," they said, and the crowd shouted with excitement, "Long live the king!" So Saul became the first king of Israel. At first, Saul showed courage and humility. When enemies threatened Israel, he led the people into battle and rescued those in danger. The nation was finally united under one leader. But being king is not only about strength, it is also about obedience. And as time passed, Saul would face choices that would test his faith and reveal the kind of king he truly was. For although Saul was chosen by God, his story would become a powerful lesson about pride, patience, and the danger of disobedience, because the greatest leaders are not simply those who look strong, but those who listen to God. And soon, another young man, one who would change the history of Israel forever, would step onto the stage. His name was David. But that is another story.